Guys, we're back today doing a full feature test of the DJI Tello. Let's get right into it. Alright, so for the test of the DJI Tello, I have my phone in just a neck holder so I can have the screen right in front of me, and then the aircraft is connected, and I'm using the wireless controller for this. So you could use a PlayStation controller. All you have to do is connect it to your phone, and then you don't have to use your phone controls, you can just use the wireless controller. So, let's take off. I'm going to do a hand launch, so I'm going to go into flight modes, throw and go. Alright. Yo, it's camera! What's up? Let's just take it up. Now, out of sound range. So now I've been told that I can go up 100 feet with this thing. Now, it's sort of questionable. Right now, we're right about 20 feet. Let's just go higher. Wi-Fi is still good. Barely even see the thing now. And that's what we're looking like right about now. 360 here. Take it back down. I'm also going to do another thing here. And that is, I'm going to go into settings. And I'm going to go into fast mode. This would just speed up going up and speeding up going down. So now, we're coming down at about double the speed. Alright. So, aircraft's right there. I'm going to go into flight modes here. And, we're going to do some flips, some 8D flips. Alright. Right there. Down a little bit. Alright, now to do a flip, we're just going to go across the screen right here. Flip left. Flip into me. Just flipped it into myself. I feel so proud of myself right now. Okay. Don't flip it into yourself.
Okay, it's really naughty, guys. Do another throw and go.
Oh dang. Right there. Alright, so what happened yesterday was I flipped the drone directly into myself, and the propeller hit the side of my phone stand and completely snapped right off. And also, one of the propeller guards on the opposite side of the drone snapped, so I had to glue that back on. So, in other words, what we learned today is don't flip a drone into yourself. And also, when it's kind of chilly out, just be extra careful. So, we did flips last time. And now, the flight mode, we're going to be exploring. You ready for it? So we'll just do a quick throw and go here. Come on. Take it up a bit. Alright, so we're going to go on. So we're starting at 360, so the drone is just going to spin itself. I'm not doing anything. Spin itself around in a complete circle while recording. Should be finishing up right about a second here. This should take right around 20 seconds. Yeah, exactly 20 seconds to do that. Now we're going to go into another flight mode. We did the flips. Bounce mode literally just means the drone is going to go up and then down and then up back again. So it's basically just going to do this. It's going to bounce. Alright. And then the circle one is it's gonna, now this one's kind of iffy. It's gonna quote unquote fly a circle around you. So I've tried this before. It doesn't really work unless your conditions are perfect, where there's no wind, no interfering signal, and like nothing but like perfect conditions. And then if we go back to the main menu here, put it into fast mode. You can also do VR and stuff. But now that we're in fast mode, we're gonna do something else. So I'll show you something here real quick. Something that I've noticed. When in fast mode, if you're coming close to your camera or whatever, fast mode is not what you want to do, because it's gonna hit your camera. You have little control over it. So if I just barely even touch my joystick, it's gonna go everywhere. You can see on the screen here that it's very shaky. So you want to kind of ease into it. So if we're just gonna go in a straight line super fast, you ease into the line. You're gonna ease into full speed. You're gonna go full speed out of the gate, because it'll be very shaky and the actual optical stabilization of the camera won't be able to keep up. When doing corners, the aircraft will tilt. So if you're trying to turn that way, it's gonna tilt into the corner. So what you're gonna wanna do if you wanna stay flat on a corner is not dip into it. So don't throttle, just physically sort of spin the drone while slowly going sideways. So, right here, if you look on the screen here now, down a bit. If I wanted to turn going that way, I could easily just sort of slowly just sort of tap my left joystick and the aircraft will begin to move that way at a pretty, not very tilted, enough to where the stabilization within the lens itself is going to be able to pick up and it will look very stable. And then another thing, you can do that both ways, but if you just suddenly tap it, it can't keep up with the stabilization because there's no gimbal. It will look really, really, really shaky. And then if you're going up doesn't do much for stabilization. Up looks pretty much the same with down. But one thing to keep in mind is if you get within about 2 feet of the ground, it will automatically land the aircraft for you. So you don't have to tap land, it will just automatically land. So if you're flying really close to the ground, you gotta be very careful that you don't actually land the drone, because that's one thing that can happen. And now, another thing to keep in mind is that if the drone senses that it's ran into something either sideways, vertically, or even below it, it will automatically shut off. So the entire drone will just, depending on the impact, if it's a hard impact, the entire drone will shut off and you'll have to reconnect the entire drone. Now, if it's just gentle, like you barely even touched it, it'll just drop to the ground, and then you'll just have to take off again. And as for height on the drone, it can go about 100 feet according to the manual and in settings. But when you go up to that height, it loses Wi-Fi and the wind will take control of the drone. So it's very stable right now. It's just sort of barely even swaying. But if I take it up really high, you can already see how much it's shaking. And we're about 30 feet. That's right about 40 there. And you can even hear that the drone is struggling to stay in one spot. And on the screen is very shaky. So if you can stabilize the video within your editor, then it's perfect. But other than that, be very cautious going at height, because also you can get an interfering signal as well, and somebody else could pilot your drone. Now, another thing to keep in mind is that you always want to be sure that you're flying in an open area. So if you're flying in the middle of the woods, you gotta make sure that you're like above the tree line, because if you run into trees, it can damage the drone, and if you get it stuck in a tree, you might not be able to get it back. And then some quick things, we're gonna go right here, settings, and then we're gonna go Bluetooth controller settings, and then game controller diagram. You can see on the screen that it gives you all the quick commands to do something with the drone. So for example, if I do, hold up. For example, L2 on the thing, so focus. This button here on my controller with the right button, with right on the D-pad, the right D-pad, the drone will automatically flip right. Now, as you can see on my drone, I went to flip it, and I got a thing, a notification. So, the drone can only be flipped when the battery is above 50%. So if your battery is below 50%, it will not let you do any kind of aerial flips. I'm not too sure why. I believe it is because it uses, to flip the drone, one side revs down and one side revs up at a super high rate to flip the drone. So if you don't have full battery, it can literally just stall. It can stall midway through and your drone will just go right down to the ground. Alright, so as you can see on my screen right now, I have low battery warning. And also on the drone as well, you can see, I don't know, hold up, I'll zoom in here. Fix the camera. There's a flashing red light on the drone. And now the drone is actually struggling to stay in one spot. So, what that means, and look at auto land right there, perfect. When it gets below a certain battery level, it cannot hold altitude and will begin to auto land. This is like the first stage of the auto land, and now, probably in about a minute there, or right there, auto landed. Because my entire battery on the drone completely died. You can actually see on the screen there's no battery. The battery symbol is basically just telling me that there's nothing left, so I can't even take off. If I try and take off, it won't happen. Nothing's gonna happen. So that is it for the full feature test of the DJI Tello. Thanks for watching the video to the end. If you enjoyed it, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and to never miss another video, hit the little bell with all notifications on, and you'll never miss a new video. And the wood carving series is going to be kind of on hold now because the weather's getting cold out, and I had to wait. Sorry, the video's like a week late. I had to wait for snow to melt and for it to just stop snowing, because if there's snow outside, you can't fly the drone, and it was snowing the whole time, so it was kind of poopy. But yeah, thanks for watching. See you in the next one.